who wants to keep millions of Americans in poverty. And as we heard just the other night on the debate stage, he seems to think $7.25 is a fine minimum wage for the state of Pennsylvania. We know that $15 is the minimum wage for every single worker in America when Joe Biden is president. As essential workers, we are done with an administration that nods and winks and bullhorns and animates and shouts out white nationalists. We know that we have to elect a leadership that is going to work with us to dismantle anti-black structural racism, build wealth in black communities, and make this a country where every community can thrive, black, white, Latino, Native American, native-born immigrant. That's the America that we're fighting for. Pittsburgh family, we are voting for unions for all, no matter where or how you work. No exceptions. We are voting for a state and a country where every person, every family, every community can not just survive, but can thrive. We are voting to demand respect us, protect us, pay us. Say it after me. Respect us, protect us, pay us, respect us, protect us, and pay us as essential workers. We are not interested in going back to some kind of normal that hasn't worked for working families for decades and hasn't worked for communities of color for centuries. We are fighting for transformational, fundamental change. That's what this election is about. We know that our work has always been essential, has it not been? Our work is essential, and we know that our votes are essential. That's why we're here to vote today, because we're not going to let 44,000 votes determine the future of this country the way it did 4 years ago. We are not sitting this one out. We are not going to let history pass us by. We are going to vote early. We are going to vote freely. We are going to vote safely. We are going to mobilize our friends and our families and our coworkers and our neighbors to vote. We're going to knock on doors. We're going to call. We're going to text. We're going to post. We're going to talk to everybody in sight, because we know that this election is too important, because we know that our work is essential and always has been. We know that our votes are essential this year more than ever, because we know that when we fight, when we fight, when we fight, when we vote, when we vote, when we vote, when we vote. All right, I want to introduce, and I'm proud to introduce, my brother, a leader of the labor movement and working people, a leader in Pittsburgh for a long, long time, the Executive Vice President of the United Steelworkers, Fred Redmond. Come on up, brother.
All right. Are we fired up? Fired up? Fired up? Good morning, Pittsburgh. Are there any union members in the house? Brothers and sisters, siblings, we have 10 days to go. 10 days to knock on every door. 10 days to make the phone calls. 10 days to do the text. Because the presidency of the United States has to come through Pennsylvania. Are we ready? This election is about so much. This election is about labor rights, human rights, reproductive rights, LGBTQ rights. This election is about the very democracy of this country. And I have the privilege this morning of introducing a sister who reflects what this election is all about and reflects the spirit and the humanity of our candidate, Joe Biden. Nakia Burton Tucker. She is a proud 32 BJ SEIU member, a full-time office cleaner. She previously worked multiple minimum wage jobs to support herself and her son. And during that time, she was evicted from her apartment and spent more than 2 months living in her car. And after attending a local 32 BJ rally, Burton Tucker became a canvasser and a local union organizer, and she joined the union. That's what this election is about. It's about those of us like Nakia, those of us who have hit hard times, those of us who depend on our country to have our backs. That's what this election is for. So, brothers and sisters, it is my privilege to introduce my sister. Let's welcome Nakia Burton Tucker. Nakia.
Thank you. Good morning, brothers and sisters. How are we feeling this morning? I know it's cold. We just had 8-degree weather yesterday, and now it's freezing today. But we got to love Pittsburgh for that. My name is Nakia Burton. I'm a proud essential worker and a union member of 32 BJ SEIU, and I'm a cleaner in downtown Pittsburgh. 32? 32? 32? I'm a single mother raising my son. As you all know, it's very hard out here right now. But the current president of the GOP, after dismantling Obamacare, took my son's health care payment from $30 a month to $180 a month. Even with my great union job, I can barely afford it now. And I feel for the workers who don't have union protection and great wages out here right now. We need a president who cares about everybody, not just wealthy donors and people who vote for him. Joe Biden is protecting all Americans and making sure everyone has access to good, affordable health care. Balanced policies will protect people with pre-existing conditions and persons who won't go bankrupt trying to pay their doctor's bills. Joe Biden has, sorry, I can't see, my glasses keep fogging up. Joe Biden has also understands the difference of good union jobs and can make a person's life and will help fight for unions for all. Joe Biden knows our economy is strong when workers are doing well, not just Wall Street, and that essentials workers like me deserve more than just a thank you. We deserve hazard pay. Everyone needs to vote November 3rd and give Joe Biden and Kamala Harris the chance to correct the critical things that Trump dismantled and fight for policies that will make our lives better and our economy stronger. Our work is essential workers, and our vote is to vote. Our work is to vote. Just like we work together as a union to protect each other as workers, and the president needs allies in Congress to do the work that will protect our rights. One colleague of Joe Biden in the Senate has been in this fight for black and brown voters since before I was born. He has a long history of fighting for labor, fighting for health care, and I know he'll keep fighting for black and brown lives when we win in November. It is now my great honor to introduce a real friend for working people and unions around, Senator Bernie Sanders.
Brothers and sisters, thank you very much for coming out on this beautiful sunny day. Let me thank Seiu for organizing the event and all of the fantastic work that Seiu is doing all over this country. What you know and what I know is that real change never takes place from the top on down. It's from the bottom on up. It's by organizing, by educating working class people. That's what Seiu is doing. And let me thank Neil and Jake and Nakia for the words that they have already spoken. And let me just repeat what you already know. This is, in fact, not only the most important election in our lifetimes, it is the most important election in the modern history of the United States of America. This country cannot tolerate a president for another 4 years who is a pathological liar. We cannot tolerate a president who is undermining American democracy. We believe that we should make it easier for people to vote and to participate in the political process. And yet Trump and his friends are trying to suppress the vote, trying to make it harder for poor people, people of color, young people to vote. That is an outrage. We need a president who understands the Constitution, who understands the rule of law, who understands that men and women have fought and died to defend American democracy, and we're not going to let him destroy American democracy. But this election is not just about Trump. This election is about restoring dignity to the working people of this country. We cannot continue to have a situation where tens of millions of Americans are working for starvation wages. This is the richest country in the history of the world. We need an economy that works for all of us, not just the billionaires on top. We're sick and tired of seeing billionaires like Trump not paying their fair share of taxes, while 500,000 Americans are homeless. We're sick and tired of seeing millions of workers work for starvation wages, 10, 11 bucks an hour. And that is why Joe Biden is going to raise that minimum wage to at least 15 bucks an hour. We're sick and tired of seeing women making 80 cents or 70 cents on the dollar compared to men. We believe in equal pay for equal work. And in America, we believe that workers have the right to join unions. And we're not going to tolerate corporate interest making it harder for workers to do what they want to do. And that's why Joe and I are going to pass legislation that makes it easy for workers to join unions. 50% of the workers in a shop sign a card, you're going to have a union. And Joe and I know that especially during this pandemic, when we've lost tens of millions of jobs, we're going to rebuild our crumbling infrastructure, our roads, our bridges, our tunnels. We're going to build affordable housing. We're going to put millions of workers back to work at living wages. And Joe Biden and I understand that health care is a human right, not a privilege. There is something wrong, profoundly wrong, when our great country is the only major country on earth not to guarantee health care to all people as a human right. The function of health care is not to make the insurance companies and the drug companies rich. It is to provide quality care to every man, woman, and child. And while we're at it, we're going to take on the greed of the pharmaceutical industry, because we're sick and tired of paying by far the highest prices in the world for prescription drugs. Joe Biden also believes that it is an international embarrassment that the United States of America is the only major country not to guarantee paid family and medical leave. When a woman has a baby in America, she should not be forced to go back to work at the end of 1 week or 2 weeks. That is a shame. That is an outrage. When a child gets sick, mom and dad should not have to lose a day's pay in order to stay home with their kid. If the rest of the damn world can have paid family and medical leave, so can the United States of America. And unlike the current president, Joe Biden understands that climate change is not a hoax, but it is an existential threat to our planet. And we're going to create millions of jobs, refurbishing our homes and our factories, making them more energy efficient, and moving toward wind and solar. And Joe Biden understands that in America we can and will end systemic racism in this country. Enough is enough. And we're going to have police department reform as well. And we need immigration reform as well. So what this campaign is about, it's about defeating a very dangerous president. But brothers and sisters, it is even more than that. It is finally creating a government not dominated by big money interests, not dominated by billionaire campaign contributors. It is about creating a government that listens to the pain of working families all over this country who today, as we speak, are struggling to put food on the table for their kids, who are struggling to pay the rent and not get evicted, who are struggling with health care. We are the wealthiest country in the history of the world. And if we stand together, black and white and Latino, Native American, Asian American, gay and straight, men and women, if we stand together and not let Trump and his allies try to divide us up, brothers and sisters, we can transform this country and create the kind of nation you and I know we can become. Now, we got a few days left in this election, and I don't have to tell anybody here that Pennsylvania is a key battleground state. And it may well be that as goes Pennsylvania, so goes America. And by the way, as America goes, so goes the entire world, because we are the most powerful nation on earth. So brothers and sisters here in Pennsylvania, in the next 11 and 12 days, please do everything you can to bring your friends, your family, your co-workers out to vote. You got early voting here until the 27th. And sometimes it's a bit uncomfortable. I know we don't like to, drag our friends and our neighbors, tell them what to do. But it'll be a hell of a lot more uncomfortable if Trump wins. So let's be uncomfortable for the next 11 days. Let's have the highest voter turnout in Pennsylvania history. Let's send Trump packing. Let's transform this country. Thank you all very much.